In Minneapolis, that is an ICE agent. Yes, the agent fell hard, and now he's doing the retreat of shame.
All right, stop.
Here's the epic fall in slow motion. The spill not only delighted protesters, the humiliation for this deportation goon made the day for headline writers. TMZ, Minnesota ICE agent, get a grip. ICE agent hilariously slips on ice in Minnesota. Ironic spill caught on video. Actually, multiple videos. Here's another angle. The agent's embarrassing ignorance about frozen pavement came one day after it happened to another Minnesota DHS agent. That guy fell and discharged his firearm. He and his buddy were lucky the bullet missed them both. But why didn't the first agent have his weapons safety on? That is law enforcement firearms training 101. The recklessness on sidewalks and in confronting protesters has fueled growing criticism of ICE. Lawmakers point out that training for new ICE recruits is now a fraction of what it used to be.
ICE used to take 5 to 6 months to get trained. They've now lowered the training period to 47 days. Why 47 days? Because Donald Trump's the 47th president.
And there is limited retraining or updated evaluations, even for more experienced agents. Jonathan Ross, who joined ICE years ago, violated the agency's own protocols by placing himself in front of Renée Good's SUV before firing and killing her as she turned away.
What the f***? What the f***? You just what the f*** did you do?
A former ICE director says the mission these agents have been tasked with, including urban arrests, often in traffic, is very different from the agency's pre-Trump mission.
Every particular incident is different, but at the end of the day, it's about training and experience. And when you take agents who have not been or not well trained in this area, who are not as experienced in doing this kind of traffic stop work, and you put them out there and you have them start doing these traffic stops, it is not surprising that you're seeing both these kind of incidents where A, agents themselves are being hurt, or B, the public at large is being hurt.
The inexperience and lack of training seems to be adding to the agents' own frustrations. As they get surrounded by protesters and photographers, agents keep lashing out.
Get back! Get back! You know people hate you!
That agent, according to legal experts, committed assault. The courts have consistently ruled that in public, witnesses have a right to photograph and record. And yet this gang of ICE agents arrested that man and hauled him away, apparently for the crime of making the agents angry.
Sorry? Sorry, I can't hear you.
Back in the street, a motorist was alternatively told to hurry up and go and stay put at the same time.
1, 2,
Adding to the confusion, you can see 2 DHS agents with weapons pointed at the driver. Current and former DHS officials say on top of the lack of experience and less training, many ICE agents shouldn't be involved in law enforcement to begin with. And recent investigations have found the rush to hire thousands of agents has caused DHS recruiters to ignore background checks or do reviews that are insufficient.
Exclusive new reporting from NBC News reveals Immigration and Customs Enforcement has placed new recruits into training before being fully vetted. Some recruits had criminal backgrounds, failed drug tests, or did not meet physical or academic standards. What's more, some recruits had not submitted fingerprints for background checks.
No fingerprints for background checks and failures to meet physical and academic standards. And those standards have already been lowered repeatedly. There is no longer a maximum age for recruits, and many recruits have been pictured looking out of shape, adding to the perception that these enforcement officers are slovenly and sloppy.
Most concerning, of course, is not just where and how they're recruiting, but the fact that we've lowered our standards and we're lowering our training standards in order to get these agents out on the streets quickly, simply so that they can rack up more arrests.
The arrests include protesters. Many ICE agents seem ignorant about constitutional First Amendment rights or are ignoring the Constitution altogether, including rights for due process. This pregnant woman was thrown to the ground for allegedly approaching an ICE vehicle.
She's pregnant!
Approaching law enforcement vehicles, though, is not a crime.
Oh my God!
After using force on the woman, including putting a knee in her back, ICE agents then dragged her along the concrete and snow.
He's dragging! Yes, he's dragging!
On top of the controversial and arguably unlawful treatment of protesters and the warrantless seizing of migrant workers, there is the overall mission itself. Donald Trump promoted the deportation policy because he wanted to remove violent migrant criminals. But most of the people being grabbed are not violent and not criminals, and not just in Minnesota, but all across the United States.
I'll tell you this, in Virginia, they've got a quota on how many people they got to pick up each week. 75% of the people who've been picked up in Virginia by ICE, and I've been to the ICE facilities to see the conditions, have violated no laws at all. That is not what the president said. We're going to get the criminals off the street. I can't speak to everything in Minneapolis. I can speak to what's happening in Virginia. 75% of the people, no criminal record. Secure the border, absolutely. Have masked ICE agents picking up moms, dropping off kids, or folks going to work. I don't think that's what the American people signed up for.
And the American people also didn't sign up for incompetence. But that now seems to be a feature at the Department of Homeland Security and with an Immigration and Customs Enforcement. If agents are stupid enough to run on frozen roadways and sidewalks, how can they possibly be bright enough to follow basic laws and respect constitutional rights? Increasingly, it appears the agents and their ICE bosses do not care. Instead, the entire mission now seems to involve charging after anybody who looks or sounds Latino or who protests. Thankfully, there is such a thing as karma. And the only regret in this case is that this idiot had his face covered and could not be publicly identified and shamed in perpetuity. By the way, the sheriff of Philadelphia is now threatening Donald Trump and his reckless ICE agents who come to her city.
I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement. Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law. So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will wish you off. You don't want this smoke, because we will bring it to you.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Alan, who wrote, "The fight back has begun. Solid." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about the ICE agents humiliating themselves in Minnesota by, among other things, running on slippery streets. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.